everyone, and welcome to Word on the Street. So, word on the street is that Lizzo's in hot water. And now, I would not normally jump on the bandwagon. Y'all know I'm not a bandwagon jumper. But this Lizzo situation where there have been 9 counts of harassment lodged by members of her dance troupe or dance team is acutely interesting to me from a workplace and workforce dynamic because I see leaders get into hot water pretty chronically in my work at Workplace Change for just doing and engaging in things that you shouldn't do when you have people who are working for you, right? So I'm going to kind of overlay some examples of things that I'm seeing in client organizations. Of course, not mentioning the client organization, but also just kind of helping you all see how a person like Lizzo could get into hot water and is not as atypical as you might think. So let's get to it. All right, gang. So there's 9 accusations, legal claims made against Lizzo by members of her dance troupe. And these claims range in nature, right? From harassment to, in the form of fat shaming is the language that they're using, to lewd acts happening in a strip club in between concerts in Amsterdam. I mean, it's a pretty vast variety of claims. But here's what's acutely interesting to me about this situation, and it is that Lizzo put herself in this situation, right? And it's not atypical, as I said in the opening. Lots of business owners will treat their employees as though they are friends, especially when it's a close-knit, tight organization. Like Workplace Change, we've got 7 full-time employees. I don't go party with my staff, period, right? But I see people jump into this kind of rotation on a pretty regular cadence, and they think that because we're cool today, we'll be cool forever, and they won't sue me in the future. Well, that's just wrong, right? It's wrong on a variety of fronts. Number one, the relationship dynamics can shift. They can transform to a totally different situation, especially in the case of you've got to let someone go. You've got to terminate someone. Where usually when a person gets fired, they're not super ecstatic about it, right? At least 80% of the time, folks are not ecstatic about you firing them for cause or otherwise. And so when a person is upset that you let them go, especially when they feel like they've been busting their behinds for you, they've been dedicated to you and passionate for you, they will dredge up things you've done in the past that maybe were not above board, right? So for instance, I was working with a client, and this client had engaged in some inappropriate behavior at a retreat. Had to do with a hot tub, nudity, and staff, right? Bad recipe. But it was from a few years before, right? So he thought, hey, no harm, no foul. There were no claims that were made then. Well, there's no statute necessarily of limitations on how long a person can wait before they tell the law or an attorney or, the government that you did something that was not above board to them. And now your whole life has been turned upside down because something that you thought was, a moment in time is coming back to wreak havoc on your world, right? So let's move it over to Lizzo. There are accusations. Now, I don't know if this is true. Lord knows there have been accusations. In HR work, accusations happen all the time. It does not mean it is fact, right? This is why we have the judicial system. But accusations were made that were pretty scathing. And you can read about it. I think we're going to put the link to the most detailed article that we found about what's happening with Lizzo. But one of the accusations was that they went to a strip club and Lizzo, was telling people while drinking, go out there, touch the person who's taking their clothes off, engage in these lewd acts. And the staff felt pressured to do it, right? This is where positional power and authority comes into play. She may feel like, hey, they didn't have to do it. It was their choice to do it. But when you have positional power and authority over someone's livelihood, they may feel like if they don't do what you were telling them to do, then they can lose that livelihood, right? So when you say, hey, let's all get into the hot tub together, and you start disrobing in the hot tub and they're looking at each other suspiciously, yeah, they're not comfortable with it and you're not picking up on the cues. You've got positional power, authority, and people are just trying to make you happy by and large. This is a problem that we should all be aware of. Same thing with holiday parties. People get drunk, they feel like, the rules don't apply tonight. Fun fact, the The rules always apply when you are the leader or, or a member of a community where you are getting paid to be there. The rules are always in action. And I feel like, although Lizzo is saying that she doesn't believe she did anything wrong, I doubt that it is exactly as these people are claiming it happened that way. I doubt it very seriously. I've never seen an allegation move forward and it's 100% the way that one individual saw it. Is usually somewhere in between where the facts are between, on either side of the coin. And it may lean closer to one side or the other, but it's rare that it's all in on one perspective. But the problem is that people were not advising Lizzo not to go and make her staff her friends, because your staff, they're not your friends, okay? You can be friendly. I live by this credo. Be firm, friendly, fair, and Be firm, friendly, fair, and somewhat flexible, right? But I'm not your friend. We are not BFFs. We are not going to do lewd acts together as a member of my team. We're not going to do those things because I know I've got everything to lose. And right now, Lizzo is experiencing that right now. She is losing. She's experiencing a season of loss as a result of likely some bad decisions she made to go hang out with some people. Then she had to fire. So my advice to you is to avoid this scenario. Whether you're a small business owner or a big business owner, avoid this scenario. Don't go out partying with members of your team and engaging in that behavior, because you never know what the future holds, and you may have to hold them accountable in a way they don't want to be held accountable. And you shouldn't feel like I can't hold them accountable because I went out to the strip club with them the night before. Not a good spot to be in as a leader, right? So word on the street is that there is strife in Lizzo's camp, and I pray that she gets to the other side of this, because I know that this can't feel good for her, and I know that all that she's worked towards, it feels like it's all at risk right now. But she can get to the other side of it, and I hope that she does, and I hope that, the people who experience this also heal from it. So jump in the chat if I've got it wrong. I'd love to hear about some things that you experienced that perhaps were suspicious or completely out of line in organizations you've been a part of. But let's join into the conversation. Until next time.